Hi, welcome to Airball Wednesdays. I'm on the grass, so if you're not, you'll probably need a mat. Grab your Gertie ball, Franklin Airball, little dodgeball, anything that has a little bit of um, give to it. And you're going to start with that underneath your pelvis today. So once you're down on your back, go right underneath the center of your sacrum, and then just place your feet flat on the floor. You're going to bring one leg up to tabletop and then the other, and then one leg goes down and then the other. Starting with the opposite leg, one leg goes up and then the other, one leg goes down and then the other. And you're just going to keep repeating this pattern so that what you can feel is the moment when you lift that second leg, how the center has to help you to control your balance. And instead of thinking locking down my center, I'm going to think of lengthening into the two-way stretch so that the crown of my head goes in one direction and my tail goes in the other. If you think of your spinal cord as being one long tube and the tube stretching in two directions and water or air flowing through that tube, that might be a helpful image for your two-way stretch. Let's keep the legs in the air this time and just straighten and bend the legs. Keeping the arms on the floor for a little bit of anchor, reach your arms down toward the foot of your mat. Knees are going to stay in place right over your hips, and you're just seeing what this does for you to lengthen both legs at the same time, and if it throws off your balance. If you want to make this a little bit more advanced, just hover the arms up off the floor and see what happens there. Let's do maybe two more. Inhaling for one side of the movement and exhaling for the other side of the movement. And then leave both legs straight. Once again, press the arms into the mat and point and flex the feet a few times. You can also do this with your legs in tabletop if it feels like the hip flexors are working a little bit less there. And it is true that we have to build some strength and endurance in all of the hip flexor muscles to keep the legs in the air without cramping, but it's also true that a neutral pelvis will help you do that. And then bring both legs back into tabletop, and one at a time, lower the legs down. And then you're going to reach your arms over your head on your inhale and lower back down on the exhale, just hovering the arms. And as you go back and forth through this arcing motion, see if you can keep the tube of your spinal cord open, the lava or air or water running through your tube in two directions. And as you're moving your arms, let's see if we can let the pit of the arm be very deep so that the scapula can kind of rest and glide on the ribs rather than reaching the arms up toward the ceiling and causing some compression in the front of the shoulder here. And then one more like that. And then leave your arms down by your sides. And once again, draw your legs into tabletop, extend them up toward the ceiling. And then you're just going to start pumping your arms like the 100. Inhale for 5 and exhale for 5. If you'd like to make this a little bit more challenging, maybe to lower the legs, you can always just keep them right there on tabletop. But with the head down today, you're just going to keep working on this idea of the tube of the spinal column continuing to open in both directions. Halfway there. And that feeling when you were raising your arms over your head and you were letting the scapula fall back, see if you can let that action happen here even as you pump your strong arms. Keep squeezing the legs together, opening the tube of the spinal column. And then on your last breath of the 100, place your arms down on the mat, pull your knees into your chest, and then lower your feet. Lift up your pelvis and take the ball out from underneath your pelvis and place it in between both of your knees. Place your feet on the ground and then slide your feet forward to the front of your mat and raise your arms up toward the ceiling. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, reach forward and go into your roll up. Keep the rounded shape of your spine as you look down at the ball, and then come right back down again. Wait until this moment where your head touches and your shoulder blades can fall back before raising your arms. Back over your head. Let's go again. Inhale to lift, exhale to finish. And on the hardest part of the roll up, you're going to squeeze the ball between your knees. And if you'd like to make that a little bit more challenging, you're welcome to lengthen your legs, still squeezing the ball, maybe even flexing the ankles. And let's do one more of whichever variation that you're working on. And then today you're going to bring your knees into your chest and take your hands behind your head and lift and lower the upper body. Exhale to lift, inhale to lower. Just that upper portion. And on your exhale, that's when you want to think pull the ribs in and down toward the pelvis. If you could kind of juice the guts out of the back as you lift up, that might help you with a little bit more lengthening of your spine. And last time, lift up and hold it. Take a deep breath in, and then lower your head and place your arms nice and wide. Press into the mat, flex your feet. Actually, let's point the feet and squeeze the heels together. So still squeezing the ball, tip your legs over to one side, turn your head the opposite, but keep both shoulders on the ground, and then come back to center. Inhale to twist, exhale to center, inhale to twist. And in this exercise, I want you to see if you can, instead of letting the legs fall to get the pelvis to rotate, if you can lift the opposite side pelvis. So if my legs are going to the left, I'm going to think, lift the right side of my pelvis to make that twist happen and anchor the right shoulder. Lift the left side of the pelvis to go right, anchor the left shoulder. One more time to each side. Just a little corkscrew prep for later. And then the ball is going to go underneath your head. You're going to keep your head on the ball, that same feeling of opening the tube of the spinal column to go right into the stomach series. So pull, switch, pull, switch, pull, switch. And if the ball starts to move, consider taking your legs a little bit higher so that you can still get this nice long line reaching of the head and the tail away from each other so that the legs aren't pulling down on the spine like this. So if you feel this action of the chin coming down, you know something's not anchored down here. So feel that feeling of the tube reaching and continue the movement. Then both legs come in, keep your head on the ball. Inhale, reach arms and legs, exhale, circle. Inhale, reach, exhale, circle. See if you can take any work that's happening in the front of the neck and put it down in the stomach. We talked about on your inhale, opening the guts toward the back. Think of all the weight of the abdominal contents just resting back there at the back of the spine. Let's do one more time. And then we're going to lift the head to go into the single straight leg stretch. Pump, switch, pump, switch. Reaching up high to bring the ankle to your hand. Still letting the scapula fall down onto the back and glide onto the rib cage. Let's just do one more. And then both knees come in, head goes back down. This time arms are going to go really wide again. Both legs are going to go up, and we'll go 5 times. Inhale for the double straight leg stretch, exhale to come back up. Now when the legs go down, think of from this deep center of your guts, pushing the ball away from underneath your spine. So you're going to get a really nice investment of the stomach to do the upper half of the two-way stretch here. And of course, the option here is to put the ball back underneath the pelvis so that you have just a little bit of support as the legs go away from you. But I really like this feeling of the head pushing the ball away on that double straight leg stretch. Yep. And then you can take the ball out from underneath your head. Let's go ahead and put it in between the knees again. And your hands are going to go behind your head for the crisscross. You can either interlace your fingers or you can cross one hand over the other. Then that same feeling of the guts pushing the ball away from the back of the neck, lift your upper body and keep your feet on the floor for this first round. And on your exhale, twist and hold, hold, hold. Inhale, switch. And on that squeezing out of the juice to get more of a twist, squeeze the ball a little bit more. A little more challenging, you can bring the legs up into tabletop. A little more challenging still, you can take the legs in the air. A little more challenging still, when you come center, bring the legs center. When you twist, pull the knees into the chest. Inhale to reach, exhale to twist. Inhale to reach, last set, exhale to twist. Imagine that your head is still on the ball and your deep guts are pushing the ball away, and then the feet come down. Keep the ball in between your knees and move your feet away from you once more. Find the scapula on the rib cage, not lifting up toward the front of the chest. Perform a roll up to come up to rolling like a ball. So you inhale to look forward, exhale to finish. Then just keep the ball, reach back and grab your ankles, put your heels together and go for a ride. Inhale, exhale. One more time, and you're going to end up right on your balance point and stay there. And we're going to work this rolling like a ball all the way around the clock from noon to 6. So your first rock will take you up and over to one side. That's 1 o'clock. Up and over for 2 o'clock. Up and over for 3 o'clock. You can kind of see where this is going. We're going to go all the way around to 6, and then we're going to make our way back the same direction. 5 o'clock coming up. And 6. And if you're going left, you should feel it more on the left side of your stomach. Let's go back the way we came from. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Kind of fun on grass with all these bumpy molehills in here. Kind of a challenge for my pelvis to get itself in the right spot. 2 more times. Inhale, exhale. Feet stay close to your tush. And then 1 more time to work your way back into the middle. You're going to transfer the ball to your ankles, and we're going to go right into the V rocker. Inhale, exhale, up. And you might have seen just now how my pelvis kind of tipped forward. That comes from that feeling of no longer the guts pushing the ball away. So keep that feeling that you had when your head was on the ball, especially right here as you come up, and that's going to help you stay in place. 2 more times for the V rocker. Last one. Then you're going to keep the ball, but you're going to put it underneath your pelvis and have a seat on it. So now the spine stretch and the saw all in one go. So let's go one hand over the other. Your pelvic floor is right in the center of the ball. Your feet are flexed about as wide as your mat. And then inhale, lift your trunk off your pelvis, and exhale, go forward. Inhale to come back up. I'm trying to keep the block of my pelvis stacked right on top of the ball and moving everything else away from that so that my pelvis isn't tempted to push the ball out from underneath me as I go down. And then let's move them a little further apart, and we'll go right into the saw. Inhale, and then exhale. And I'm flipping my back palm up today. Jay teaches this usually with his palm down. And I think I'm interested in this internal rotation that naturally happens in the gait cycle and incorporating that into our saw. So again, I'm internally rotating the back arm as I go forward. Let's go 1 more set of the saw, a little higher rep today on some of these exercises. And then we'll flip around right to the stomach to go for the swan. So this is where you're gonna put your ball today, right somewhere between the middle of the thigh and the bottom of the knee. And keeping your toes on the floor. This is gonna ask you to squeeze your legs together a lot to keep the ball from going through your thighs. So for now, make a pillow with your hands and put your forehead on your hands. Keep the tops of your feet on the floor and your inner thighs squeezing together to not let the ball slip up. And you're just gonna straighten your legs and bend your knees. It's gonna be super subtle, but what I'd like to see is that you can keep this nice long line in the low back. So not arching your back to straighten your legs, but rather lengthening your tail into your feet the more your legs go straight. Let's do 2 more of those. And then keep both legs straight. And on your inhale, lift your chest and look forward. And exhale, lower back down. Just this today. So we're focusing on how can we use the inner thighs to do more of this upper half 2-way stretch that we were just talking about on the back. Arms are going to stay on the mat for these last 2 swans. Inhale to lift. So trying to cultivate this idea of going forward rather than going up. Forward to stretch the stomach. And then push yourself back. You're going to grab the ball and just place it out to the side for a moment to go right into your single leg kick down on your elbows. 2 fists. Kick, 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 kick. And you can still imagine that same feeling of trying to keep the legs together in order to keep the ball from slipping between your thighs. And that same feeling of pulling yourself forward in the swan for this single leg kick. Then you're going to push back again, and you're going to put the ball in between your ankles this time. So you can either do that before you lay down, or you can lay down, bend your knees, and then go for it. So the trick here is to get the ball right in between your ankles so that when you put the ball on the ground, the ball is on the ground and not your feet. So see where you have to squeeze that. Going to be a little bit of a bend in your knee. Then once again, forehead to the mat. Let's go arms down by your, this is not easy in the grass. Forehead on the mat, arms down by your side. You're going to straighten your legs so that your knees lift off. but while still lengthening into your low back. Then you're going to kick your heels in toward your bottom just once. Let's go squeeze the ball. Then after you've squeezed the ball, you're going to do exactly what you did in your swan. Push the ball into the mat and lift your upper body with those internally rotated palms, lift up toward the ceiling. And then we'll just go again. Lift and squeeze and push and reach your upper body forward. Put it back down, lift and squeeze. Put the ball back down, reach and lift. One more time. Lengthen the legs first. Then you take your squeeze. Lengthen the legs, push. Find the long low back, and then lift your upper body. Let's just stay here for a moment. Inhale, circle. Exhale, come back. Just an option. You can go as far as you'd like. Exhale, come back. One more time, kind of like the pull straps. Exhale, come back, and then hands to the floor. Push yourself up and sit back. We'll go into the thigh stretch. Well, we'll go in between your inner thighs this time. And let's try a side bend. Throw that in there, kind of like the short box. So you'll reach both arms up toward the ceiling, like you've got the bar in your hands. Squeeze the ball and feel that lift up through your pelvic floor. Remember the tube of the spine, air blowing through the tube. And then inhale, tip yourself to one side, and exhale to come back up. And one more time, just that reach on the ball. And then we'll go into the thigh stretch. Still have the bar in your hands, still scoop up through your inner thighs, still open the tube of your spinal column, and then inhale to come back, exhale to come up. Going for length and not range of motion. So if I feel a kink in any part of the spinal column, I'm going to stop there and go for more length. And then just flip it around. We're going to skip the neck pull today, but we are going to go into the scissors. So the ball is going to go back underneath your pelvis just for a little bit of a lift with your arms down by your sides. Same as before, ball right in the center of the sacrum. You're going to pull both knees into your chest, and then you're going to send both legs up. And as you pull one leg closer to you, the other leg is going to reach away. Now let's make this less about how far can I get my legs apart and much more about how far can I pull the two legs away from the center. So from the deep center of the body, perhaps even way back here at the thoracolumbar junction where your low back meets your middle back, and then scissor back and forth, switch and switch, switch and switch. So you may recall that feeling of the deep guts reaching the ball away when it was underneath your head. Let's go for the same idea here, but let's start the deep guts from right above where the ball is. So way down here by your bladder, streaming into and behind your spine and then out the crown of your head. And then let's turn that into a bicycle. Still the idea of pulling the legs away from the center rather than apart from each other. And then just keep it moving as you reverse the bicycle. Couple more. And then both feet go down. We're going to go right into the side kick series. So you can put the ball in between your two ankles. Body's going to go to the back of the mat, and feet will go to the front of your mat. And then once you're all the way down on your bottom arm, take the top arm and place it right next to you so you can feel whether you're rolling forward or back. Then you're going to keep that tube of your spine open and reach it long and then lift both of your legs. And what I'd like for you to see, if you can tap into, is the feeling that the upper body doesn't try to lift somehow in order to lift the legs. So the upper body is lengthening in order to lengthen the legs away. You're welcome to make this a little bit more challenging by putting your head in your hand. Or perhaps you want a little bit more length on this side and you'd rather reach the top arm or grab the wrist. Kind of a nice way to feel this long length from both ends, right? The upper body and the lower body reaching away from each other. And two more. Last one, and then just roll the ball forward, flex the bottom foot, put the bottom foot on top so that right at the outer edge of the foot is on top of the ball here. And then you're just going to swing the leg forward and back. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. They heard about class. They wanted to come by and check it out. 2 more times. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and then up and down for 10 and 9. Can you press down enough and away on this leg to generate the upper portion of the two-way stretch? So there's not a lot of movement as you go up and down. Just 2 more. Really simple. I'm just keeping my foot pointed today, and then we'll switch around to the other side. So starting with the fish again, ball in between the ankles. Once you've got it there, all the way down onto your back. And then again, your options were head stays down. To find the two-way stretch, arms reaches over, and you grab it for a little more length, or the head gets supported in the bottom hand. And you can flex both of your ankles or point your feet. The idea is to reach the lower half of you away from the upper. Let's do 2 more. And then roll the ball in front. Place the bottom foot on bottom on top of the ball. And that foot's going to stay flexed. The top foot's going to stay pointed. Find your two-way stretch again. I like to use this arm to pull my guts away from that arm so I don't feel my belly button trying to push into my arm. And then swing forward and back. Inhale, exhale. I think I'm on a downhill. Oh, inhale, exhale. 2 more. And last one. Sometimes the comforts of a studio, I think, make me a little lazy with respect to feeling what I'm feeling when I'm feeling it. And so this kind of uneven terrain here is reminding me, oh, it's not always going to feel the same. 2 more. And then we'll do some teasers. So the ball is going to go in between your knees. And we'll do a couple single and double legs. So with your feet on the floor, further out away from you. So not up underneath you. Away enough that you can lean back with your upper body and feel that nice flat balance point just above your tailbone on what I call the plateau of your sacrum. So you've come out of the canyon and now you're in the flat plateau. So let's stay here in this feeling of teaser with the shoulder blades kind of resting back into the flesh of the back rather than trying to jam up against the ribs. So keep that nice little armpit space right there. And then decide which leg you're going to lift in the air and squeeze the ball. Then you're going to roll down only to the point that you feel like you could make it back up again without this bottom leg lifting off the floor. So that might be to your shoulder blades. That might be all the way down. But don't try to be a hero. Just go to that spot where you really feel it working and then scoop your guts into the top of your head to come up. One more time on this side. So we're going 5 and 5. Stop there, switch your feet, go again. Two more on this side. Really hard to keep this one leg in place. I think we kind of find that on the tree. And then instead of a double leg teaser, let's just do the tree. Toss the ball out to the side, lengthen this leg forward, rock back until you feel like you're going to fall. Keep the leg in place, externally rotate it, walk down that leg. Leave it there as you reach your arms up and over your head. Reach forward to grab the leg, push it away from you, not down. You could leverage it down, reach it away to climb back up it, and then lift up your back tall. And then we'll do it again. Round to go back until you feel like you're going to fall. Externally rotate the leg, walk it down. Reach the arms. Reach, reach, reach. Grab the leg and help. Keep thinking crown to the ceiling. When you get there, grab the leg, widen it out, lift it up. And then one more time, round your back, rock it back till you feel like you're going to fall externally. And then we're just going to switch legs here. Boop. And then we go again. 3 times on this side. And if you're having trouble getting all the way up, I do have some suggestions. You can roll up a little towel and put it underneath your back. You can hook your foot underneath the couch, or you can just be satisfied today with going as far as you can and then coming back down. Last time for your tree. And then you're going to go right into your seal. So both hands come underneath here. Clap, clap, clap. Reach, clap, clap, clap. Reach, pause, clap, clap, clap. And the clap is not a smacking together of your feet. It's just an opening and closing at your hips. So if you're really controlling your legs, your feet may not actually clap together at all. And then because it's a little bit more complicated of an exercise, I'd like to address the crab today. So put your hands behind you for a moment and rock back onto that same flat spot, your sacral plateau, and then cross both of your legs and reach down and grab the opposite foot with the opposite hand. So the crab is interesting because it's kind of complicated like boomerang and it's got two parts. But today we're just going to learn how to rock in this position. So same as you just did in your seal or in your rolling like a ball, you'll just hold this and then rock back up. And just see what that does for you today. Can you maintain that tree feeling of climbing up your leg, reaching the upper half away from your lower half from your uh, what was that, air or water moving through your spine? And then let's try it with the other leg on top. So this is the rolling component of the crab. And of course, there's also the headstand part, but we'll talk about that in just a second. And then one more. All right, so now just put your legs down right where they are, but keep a hold of your feet. Then you're gonna round your spine like you're about to do a spine stretch and go as far forward as you can, and then come back up. Switch which leg is on top, grab the feet again. Same idea, forward like a spine stretch, pretending that you're gonna put your forearms on the mat. Go as far as you can, then round yourself and come back up. Keep your feet where they are. You're gonna put your hands on the mat in front of you to help you roll onto your head. So you're going to round forward, put your hands on the ground, start to lift up onto your knees. Keep rounding your back until you can gently put the top of your head on the floor. Then using your hands for support as much as you need to, push into the floor, lift your seat, and roll more onto the crown of your head. You're thinking elephant. So if the little string on the center of your spine here, we're pulling that vertebrae up, that's the rounded position that you would want. Now keep that rounded position. Use your arms and your stomach to help you come back up. Sit back over your ankles again, and then switch sides, whichever leg is on top. And the hard part is definitely getting over your legs, but that'll come with practice. So you lean forward like a spine stretch, keeping the round spine. Hands go to the floor. You push yourself up and you think elephant as you drop your head to the floor. You push into your arms if you need to move them anywhere for support. Please do. Not a lot of weight on the top of your head. You just roll forward and try to get the feeling of being on top of your head in a headstand with this nice rounded spine. And then come back. Let's put those two things together. Come back onto your balance point, grab one foot or the other, rock back, just keep your legs the same for now, and then stop. Change your hands to the floor in front of you. Same technique as before, using your arms to help round your back, up and over the top to sit over your feet. Come back into your balance and hold. Switch which leg is on top. Try the exact same thing. Inhale to go back, exhale to come up. Put your feet on the floor, take your hands forward, lift up and over. Top of the head goes to the floor as close to you as possible. Push yourself up without closing off the throat. So you're nice and long. And then come back. Good. Grab your ball again. And let's try a little bit of balance. So the ball is going to go underneath one of your shins. If you find your kneecap and then walk down to this little base right here where the sticky outie bump is, that little sticky outie bump more or less is going to go on the ball. And then with all fours, hands, and knees, you're going to extend the other leg back until it's in a plank. Then just hold that plank position for a moment and think open tube of your spine once again. So this is neutral. I'm not trying to get a flat back here around it. Neutral spine. And then when you're ready, balance with this foot on the ball, you'll lift your other leg off the floor. We're going to hold this for about 30 seconds. So if having your foot on the floor is good for now and you just want to work on opening the tube of your spine, great. If you want to lift that leg just a little bit in the air to hover it so you feel safe, also good. If you've got your leg in the air and you're like, Heather, what else? Raise that other arm up and balance. Opening the spaces in the tube where there might not be enough air flowing through. 10 more seconds. And one more breath. Then the arm comes down, the leg comes down. Little transition here. Put the ball back under between your inner thighs. You're going to take your hands into a very wide push-up position. I'll turn to face you so you can see what that's all about. So in Pilates, we typically do our push-ups right here, close to the body. I'm going to take my hands a lot further away so that when I go down, I can feel this full width of my chest spreading open. So as if someone's pulling this elbow that way and someone else is pulling that elbow that way, and we're going to do 10. So you're squeezing your ball, your chest is going to go straight down, your elbows are going to go out. Here we go. 10 and 8, 7. I'm going to inhale on the way up. 6, 5. Of course, you can go to a full plank. 4, 3, but only if you can keep the tube of your spine open. Really, this is just to find the width. Then we have another side to do. So the ball goes underneath a little sticky outy bit underneath your other shin. Once your hands are in place underneath your shoulders, that leg goes back into its tabletop position or its plank position. And the crown of the head and the tail are the two opposite ends of the tube we were talking about. Run the water through the tube, and then when you're ready, lift that leg in the air. Again, you can keep that foot on the floor, 30 seconds on the clock. If this bottom foot is on the floor, consider moving the leg just a little bit more forward. If it's too high in the air, consider moving the leg back and relaxing the hamstring. Might even give it a shake back there and come back onto the ball. Opposite hand lifts, and of course, that last variation where you've got both the arm and the leg off the ground. Take 3 more deep breaths. About 10 more seconds to go. Keep settling the body on the weight of this arm. And then last one. And the leg comes down. Nice work, folks. You're going to take the ball and just put it out to the side. Lay down on your stomach. Reach your arms forward. And then reach back and grab one ankle or the other. So kind of a little rocking variation. You can make a little pillow with your hand and put your head on it. You're going to squeeze your leg in toward your body using your bicep. Then kick the foot into your hand without letting the knee lift off the ground. So just kick and let it lift your upper body into a little bit of a stretch for the front of the shoulder. Then come right back down and once again squeeze the leg in. Push the foot into the hand, let it lift you up and stretch your front. And we'll go 2 more times. And we'll switch sides. I do want to point out that as I'm bending my elbow to pull that leg in toward me, that I'm trying not to let the shoulder roll forward to do that. So I'm thinking row, scapula on my back, and pull my arm in. So I'll turn around and face this way on this side so you can see that again. And then if you'd like to, for your grand finale, grab both legs. Again, shins stay on, or knees stay on the ground as you lift. Hold that for 1 more breath, stretching your front without closing your back. And then extend your legs, push back to a child's pose. And then round yourself up to seated. We'll end with a little mermaid. Let's try this variation today. We've got one leg crossed over the other. Alternatively, you can cross one leg like a genie. So if you're going to the right, you're going to have the right leg on top as if you were sitting on the Wunda chair. The ball is going to go out to the side with the pinky edge of your hand on the ball. The ball is going to be slightly in front of you, not directly out to the side. Then with just a gentle pressure on the outside of the hand, raise this opposite arm up. You're going to try to go away from you like we did on your knees, keeping the opposite hip down, and then come back up. You don't have to go very far to start. You can always travel a little further. Too hard on this shoulder, you're going to actually take the elbow down to bend as you come closer to the ball. So a little easier of a setup for that arm. Otherwise, that arm is going all the way out as you reach. I'm trying not to collapse in this side, but to lift up and use the ball to do that, just as if that hand were on the floor. 1 more time. And if you don't like the ball for this, you can always put your hand back on the floor. And then let's sit back like you would do a boomerang with spidey fingers on the ground. Think pulling up and in, lean back until you can lift both legs in the air, switch legs, leg is on top, and then lower it back down. Good practice for your boomerang. Might get a little cramp there in your quad. So again, ball slightly in front of you. The direction you're going, that leg is on top, the other arm is in the air. Can you tell I'm at 6,200 feet? Am I breathing hard? I'm from sea level, people. Now you may be able to tell I'm having a little trouble on this side, keeping this side down, and I know this side of my back is just a little shorter. So I think what I'm going to think is find the connection of that side of my back to the ground without gripping this leg, and then reach up and over from there, and I'll see what that does. That's a little bit better. Let's do 2 more mermaids on this side. Inhale or exhale, your choice. Hopefully you're having fun. One more time. And if you're not, consider going outside because it's amazing. All right, we're going to end with 1 set of push-ups with the ball in between your inner thighs. I'll kind of go away so you can see me here. So in between the inner thighs, we'll go roll down, walk out, 1 push-up only. And today I'd like you to try the wide variation of your push-up. So you roll it down, walk it out. Keep the 2-way stretch, the hollowness of your tube. Go all the way down, come back up. Now, as you walk back up, here's that moment you can cultivate of rounding your back and sending your guts out your back space. And then once you're there, all the way back up. We'll do 4 more of those. Try to keep it flowing, keep it moving. My challenge for myself today is to do 1 inhale to go down, 1 exhale to come up. Wow, that's hard. All right, maybe we do 2 breaths. Woo! And we'll go 1 more time. All right, that's all I got for you today, folks. May you find yourself somewhere pretty. Bye-bye.